Hey, so today I'm going to be playing the game that's hit 1000 days today without an update. And hint, it's not survival games. Because although I went over 1000 days, this game's the second one to do it. It's called Ground Wars. Bet you never heard me mention it before. So as I try to get into a game of Ground Wars, let's discuss three things. Number one, why has this taken so long to update? Number two, what could be added to the game that means this should not take 1000 days. Okay, and number three is why has Ground Wars and SG now been two games that have gone over 1000 days? And is this okay? So firstly, why is this taking over 1000 days to update? Well, Ground Wars was an LTM, and they made it a permanent game. They've done this to one other game before, and that's Block Drop. Interesting thing to note is both Ground Wars and Block Drop are probably Hive's least played games. They did well as an LTM, but as a permanent game, people didn't like it. I think another thing to note is Ground Wars has the worst XP system. Like, considering it's level 20 to max, it takes a while. Compare that to other games like Gravity, which if you're good at it, you could max in a day probably. Like, and that's level 25. Like, the XP system isn't good. Like, I think it's like 1 XP per kill, and like 5 for a win, or maybe 10 for a win. Pretty sure if you got like 2 kills in Skywars, you'd have more XP than most people do in like one Ground Wars game. And that's not including you winning Skywars. So, the motivation to play for long periods of time in this game doesn't exist. It's why you don't see many max levels. Also, the fact it hasn't been updated so long means no one wants to play a game that's stale. If the game hasn't been updated, it's still currently 1000 days and probably more. If the game has been left untouched, what could they do to fix this? Well, obviously update, but it's easy to say, update a game, do something, and then just not say what they should do. Because if you're saying update and then it's like the worst suggestion of all time, that's not valid. To be fair, there's a lot of ways they could update this. One, add more maps. Like, there's literally a Christmas map, which they had for when it was an LTM called Snow Wars, and they never brought it to the main game. They can just reskin it and make it a permanent map. That would take a day or two, and that's one map. Then you just make 2, 3 more, which it might take a couple weeks. But Ground Wars maps have the same template. It's a box. You design the box. Another thing is, there could be more power-ups. Like, there could be more, like, the big power-up. You have Rain Paint. Like, if you added more of those, people would play. Like, if you, for example, for Ground Wars, you go, you know what? Like, you could easily add a power-up which makes the whole other team blind for, like, 10 seconds. Like, a massive one. Don't even a tiny one. I think a crazy power-up would be you switch sides. I don't know how feasible that is, but imagine it's a low chance that it spawns, and you can get the entire, like, blue team to switch with green team. Maybe you switch team moles, or maybe you just switch team land. Either way, it'd be really goofy. I think it'd be great. In terms of individual power-ups, I think jump boost would be funny. Like, if you could just, like, have jump boost and, like, get some crazy shots. Maybe you could add items, because at the moment they're all just effects, really, right? Apart from imposter. Like, what if you could add a crossbow with multi-shot, and it's a one use, and that's a power-up? Another thing, why didn't they make the XP system different for Ground Wars? Because they have made tweaks to Sky Wars recently, and that's the first time in a long time they made tweaks to XP. If you made tweaks to Ground Wars XP, people would level up faster and they'd play a bit longer. It doesn't fully solve the issue, but if you can get the average person to play for longer, it helps the game. But now I think it's time to discuss the records Ground Wars could break, and let's talk about some facts about the games. So firstly, the longest time out an update was SG, and it took survival games 1106 days to update. That was 19th of February 2021 to the 1st of March 2024. If Ground Wars takes another 106 days, it will tie it. And to do that will be July 12th this year, 2025. And also, you might be thinking, Chalky, what about region agnostic queues? The update has to be game specific. It can't just be, we added a new CS preset, which 90% of players will never play. Or it's, we added region agnostic queues, which, although it helps games like Ground Wars, which don't get much people, it's a server-wide update. It's not a game specific. And it doesn't change the gameplay, it just makes the queue faster, which, although it's great, isn't really a fix to the issue. Like, look at this poor chicken. And I know I'm biased. I'm not saying here saying they should update Ground Wars. It should be probably one of the least updated games in the server. That's fine. Considering Ground Wars has a 174-day lead over second place is nuts. Also, that second place is Block Drop. Anyways though, this is a short video, because I'm not going to yap for ages about this. I just want to tell you the facts, what could be done different, and does this game deserve 1000 days? No. Because 1000 days is basically 3 years without an update. And that's crazy. I think if it takes longer than 2 years to update a game, something's wrong. And I think every 2 years a game should at least have 2 new maps. Don't think that's much to ask. But hey, that's just my thoughts. Let me know down in the comments if you agree. Until next time, bye bye.